we get started? All right, welcome to today's Economic Development Project team. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Commissioners, we do have our minutes from our last meeting, which occurred in January. Can I get a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, those opposed? It carries. All right, then before us, we have two discussion items. The first one is City Development Project updates. So I will turn to Ms. Behrens to tell us about that.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Just because of the magnitude of a couple of the projects and information that has been coming out about those, I wanted to share with this project team sort of the progress on some of our significant placemaking efforts in and around the Grand River downtown. So this is just a quick update. As you all are well aware, it's been a long-held vision of the City of Grand Rapids to restore the rapids and restore and enhance the river as it flows through our city. We've done a lot of work from a policy perspective to align ourselves around that vision. There's zoning changes that have been made to have the river and its presence be more of an asset and a gathering place. There are many, many plans around parks and trails along the river, and the city has outlined an opportunity for economic development at 201 Market with our relocation of city services to a different site that we've purchased on Scribner to create a redevelopment opportunity of almost 30 acres adjacent to the river. So major milestones on both of those, the river restoration project and the 201 Market project, that I just wanted to make sure this body was aware of. So first, I'll tackle the river restoration project. News just was provided publicly about that, but we have had a conversation with the regulatory bodies and in the state of Michigan about proceeding. We are going to withdraw the current permit that we had submitted that detailed the river restoration project, including fish habitat enhancement, fish passage enhancement, more natural features, and included some significant whitewater features. We have come to understand that parts of that project are not likely to be permittable, and in the attempt to get a project that will serve the city very well, will be a feature and an attractive asset through the city and serve many of the placemaking and economic development opportunities that we've been planning for over the last many years. We are going to be working with the state agencies to modify the project to get to a place where we have much more certainty that it will be permittable and resubmit that application. So we are embarking on a collaborative process with the state agencies and our partners here locally to revise that project and resubmit. We have a shared goal of getting to construction work in the river in 2025. So we will keep our pedal to the metal to get through all of those things. We're also working very hard with other federal agencies and partners to maintain funding that has been envisioned for that project and to continue to think about what the upper reach of the river could look like as well. So more to come on that, and certainly staying the course for the overall vision for Grand Rapids and restoring the rapids. It will look different than we had originally designed, but it's still a great project. And then turning to the 201 Market project. So as you know, the city had purchased and has purchased a property from the Kent County Road Commission. They're in the Kent County Road Commission is in the closing days of moving off of that site to a new facility that they've constructed for themselves. And we are getting very close with our partners, the Convention and Arena Authority, for the Convention and Arena Authority to close on their purchase of 201 Market, which will then allow us to do the work to relocate our operations to the KCRC site. So that relocation process will take some time, but it's the momentum is gathering for that work to happen. The CAA shared with their board at their prior meeting that they're targeting still a May or June closing. You may recall that right now the closing is set at no later than June 30th, and we're ticking through the closing checklist. So there's work to be done to create legal parcels and all kinds of title review and all kinds of exciting real property law things that are happening. But that work is happening in partnership with the CAA and Grand Action, and I anticipate in the next a few months to be providing the commission with a full update that the CAA is proceeding with closing, and we'll be proceeding with all of the work to relocate our operations and continue to provide day-to-day services as we do that. So happy to answer any questions.
All right, great. I'll turn to my colleagues first. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner?
I just had a question about, I think when we talked about for 201, for the June 30th, but then there could be an option to extend it again, or is it like, I just don't remember that part.
There could be an option to extend again, so it's kind of by mutual agreement. It's been happening by mutual agreement. We did just review the closing checklist and all the steps needed, and it does seem like June 30th is possible. So
Okay.
I think all the parties intend to be able to close before another extension would be necessary, but certainly keep you posted.
I just wanted to make sure, because I think Commissioner Robbins wasn't here, and and I think when I came on, that was maybe at the second point. I can't remember how many extensions there have been, so.
Yeah, and I'll speak. I serve on the Convention Arena Authority, and I know we're eager to move forward with the purchase of the property, as well as move as quickly as possible to get in the ground. I know all of us are well aware of inflation and escalating costs, and the longer it takes, we are concerned about the price tag increasing. So there is an urgency on the part of the CAA to get moving as quickly as possible and to be able to have concerts to generate revenue to start paying back any of the bonds that we need to take out. So that's part of the conversation as well. I anticipate from my CAA hat that we will move forward by June 30.
When's your next meeting, Mayor?
For CAA, we meet the first Friday of every month
Of every
at
month, okay.
8:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and I know there's a lot of moving parts. And again, just a reminder, this is just the parcel A, not the entire parcel of 201. So there's another parcel B that we've talked about for a long time, but that's not what we're focused on right now. So,
Right.
yeah, thanks. Any other questions, City Manager?
Mayor, thank you. I want to thank Ms. Behrens and our staff, our planning and engineering staff, for all of their work in the relocation effort off of 201 Market, as well as looking at the site on Scribner. There's a lot of staff work, and as we partner with the CAA Grand Action to really bring this very transformational project forward, it's going to provide a lot of benefits to our city. I do also want to thank our partners from Grand Rapids Whitewater for their work on the river restoration project. And I know while the project that was initially envisioned with really bold whitewater features could not be permitted as initially submitted. And although that has been a long vision of the city to restore the namesake to Grand Rapids, I do feel that what we will eventually submit will still be a transformational project that would allow us to have uninterrupted water channel or river throughout our center city, and would provide additional recreational as well as economic benefits in our city center. But I do hope that even though this initial submission may not be exactly what was submitted, there's another portion of the river where we could have some of those same type of urban outdoor recreational features with the very high velocity waterways. So I look forward to both this initial submission and any improvements or iteration of the project. So I appreciate Whitewater, as well as our partners from the state and federal agencies, for really committing to expediting the resubmission of their application.
Yeah, thanks, City Manager, for saying that. And I want to give another shout out to Ms. Behrens and Mr. Berkman for all the work on this. And, I've already said this multiple times, especially over the last couple of weeks, that I too believe it's going to be a transformational project. And there's two reaches. There's a lower reach and the upper reach. And getting the lower reach done opens the door for us to focus on the upper reach. And even though the initial features we wanted were not supported by our state and federal partners, there are still a lot of other potential features that can be added as we look to this redesign. So I have a lot of faith in the technical team. No pressure on you back there, city engineer. But we have a great team around the table, and I believe that the next design that we submit is going to be just as transformational. So thank you for your work. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right, let's move to our Development Center report.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Okay. Just a few updates from the Development Center. We have a strong projections for economic construction for this year, 2023. As of 3/1, we have $125 million project investment, which puts us a third over our projected investment. But also wanted to give some highlights to our outreach and engagement efforts. We've relaunched our quarterly lunch and learns. Recently, we've also had attendance to the monthly neighborhood association meetings throughout the community. We've also had the community master plan efforts, including 3-day launch events at GRPS University, Union High School, and Alger Middle. We also have engaged with the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber, targeting area-specific projects which take place in Hispanic neighborhoods, and also the Commission Night Outs. So, any questions regarding that?
All right, commissioners, any questions? Go ahead.
I don't know if this is the right time for it, but when you talked about the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber, it made me think of the RFP that we had for a parcel on Cesar Chavez Avenue. I think that was out, maybe that was at the beginning of February. And I don't know if that RFP is closed, sorry. I was like, it probably is a question for Jono. But it just made me think of that because I think that was shortly after the new year, so we
Yeah,
have an update for that.
I appreciate that, and for you bringing that up. Yes, we did issue the RFP, and that has closed. And so we did get a response to that and are evaluating with the review committee, which does include members of Roosevelt Park Neighborhood Association's Development Committee, as well as the South Division Granville Corridor Improvement Authority's Development Committee. And so that's under review, and we expect to work through some details and are targeting to bring you a recommendation in the next month or so.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thanks. All right, commissioners, any other questions or comments? Nope. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. City Manager, any updates?
I just wanted to thank our economic development staff is in South by Southwest now. Our director, Jeremiah Gracia, and Jordan are there along with some of our other partners from the Right Place and the Smart Zone, helping to recruit talent and businesses to consider Grand Rapids, particularly tech talent. And I want to thank both our educational partners at Grand Valley as well as Ferris and Davenport also for really being intentional about recentering curriculum around tech education. And hopefully that will allow us to continue to be this vibrant community that attracts new millennials to come to our area. And we know that it's not just about jobs, but it's about placemaking as well. And some of the projects we were talking about earlier will not only make it a great place to live and play for current Grand Rapidians, but also for people who continue to think about other places around the country that they could live in. So thank you to all of our partners who are helping us to continue to promote our tech identity.
Yeah, thanks, City Manager. Any other verbal updates? Go ahead.
I have one question, Mayor. Thank you. I don't know, because this is our first inaugural, but we did have another RFP, which was for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board. Will this committee get a precursor to that before? I know that closed, so, but I don't know what your intention is, City Manager, about what committee that would best be at, or is that going to come directly to Cal? So
That's a good question.
Yeah, our intent was to update the committee of the whole, but
Okay.
we can certainly also have parallel conversations here as needed.
Okay, good. Good question. And then I'll add a verbal update and maybe a question, Commissioner Sassi. I know you serve on our Brownfield Development Authority. So just a couple things, Commissioners. There's a lot happening in Lansing, as you all know. I've been in Lansing probably more over the last few months than I have in a long time because of all the activity. But wanted to let you know, just consistent with some of our legislative priorities. I'm very hopeful that the bill for land bank that would allow the city of Grand Rapids to create our own city-specific land bank, my hope is that that will drop soon, and working on making sure that we have support for that. Many of us know the history of Kent County dissolving the land bank years ago and our desire to have a city-specific land bank for quite some time, so that, not that I don't appreciate our partnership with the Michigan Land Bank, I do, but we all know that it'd be a whole lot better if we had our own city-specific one. So hopefully we'll have some good news on that, and we'll see that move forward. There was, I believe today, there has been some discussion in Lansing about a housing TIF bill that would be administered by MISHDA, and this would add eligible activity around housing, assistance, and development. Again, how do we create more tools, especially knowing that housing is key to economic development? So that package of bills, there's 4 of them, I believe. I've been in conversation with a number of folks talking about our support and making sure that they know that we are supportive of having as many tools in our toolbox as we look at addressing the real housing crisis that we have in our community. And then third, I know the 3 of us have talked about this before, as has the whole commission. There's also a desire in Lansing, but I would like to see it happen locally too, to update our Brownfield Act to allow Brownfield TIF and Land Bank to include cost of sale for housing. That's a huge opportunity for us to add housing, and not just rental, but home ownership, affordable home ownership. So hopefully that will pass at the state, but you know me, I don't think we should always just sit on our laurels and wait for the state. We should do what we can locally as well. So I know that that's a conversation that will be coming up at our local Brownfield Authority, and I'm hopeful to see that tool available in the city as well.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, lots of things going on in Lansing, new legislature, and, I think that there are times when we hope that they do those things, but we've had this I think this was maybe the conversation. I joined the commission, in 2020, and I think then shortly became part of some other committees. And so I know, Mr. Kluster, that our chair of our body, Mr. Guillermo Cisneros, has had that conversation. That was something that's come up to our Brownfield board probably last summer. And so I know that there have been some conversations about how we might bring that to the body as it is a policy, a policy piece for that authority, and then it would come to us as well. So I know we're probably going to cancel our March meeting. Is that what it's looking like? 2 weeks. So I don't think we're probably going to have enough pieces there, but I'm hopeful that we can have the conversation in that April meeting.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Any other verbal updates? All right.
I don't think so.
All right. With that, anything else for the good of the order, City Manager, before we close? No. I think I saw no.
I just wanted, just to be clear, so the March meeting is definitely canceled? Has that been communicated? Yep, good.
The March meeting, we have no.
In the,
We have no action items for the agenda, and so we would have no reason to hold a Brownfield meeting in March.
other than if there was a desired discussion around this particular topic, that could be either a briefing in public or a closed session. So if the chair and the members of the committee wanted to meet to address that item, even though there's no staff items being brought forth, the committee could possibly
It could
meet.
happen.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. All right,
So
with that,
make sure we have quorum.
yeah, good point, Commissioner.
Right, but apart from if the staff says we have no items, then it's up to the committee to determine, are there any other items that they'd like to hear from
Yeah,
to help set the agenda?
yep, just like this meeting, no action items, but all good updates and good information. So thank you again, thank you, and I'll defer to our appointed commissioners that serve on that body. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. With that, we are adjourned. Commissioners, we are back together in an hour and 10 minutes.
Thank you.